Okay, so I know I call these crayon fireworks, but I actually don't have a box of crayons right now. So I'm going to make it work by using colored pencils. I also have oil pastels. I think I'm gonna try both and see which one I like better. So for this video, I'm gonna start with colored pencils and see how it goes. I grabbed just one of every color in the rainbow or the color wheel. A lot of colored pencils come in different values of these colors and different mixtures. I'm just going with some standard Roy G. Biv that I have in front of me. So I also have a pencil sharpener because I'm doing colored pencil, but for most of you that will be using crayons, you obviously don't need that. You just need a blank white piece of paper and your box of crayons. You don't even need a pencil for this, so it's kind of nice. So I am gonna do warm and cool fireworks. So I'm gonna start with a cool firework and just demonstrate how to do it. I got my 3 cool colors, and it doesn't matter which one you start with. Sometimes I like to start with the lightest in the middle, just because. And you're gonna work starting in the very corner of your paper. And I'm gonna teach you about rotating your pencil or your paper as you color in a circle. So I'm using medium pressure, not super light. And I've done this a bunch of times, so it's pretty easy for me to be able to get that on there real quick. But if you're having trouble, something that might help you, let me zoom in. We'll go real close up. I'm just coloring back and forth in the same direction, but I'm gonna go in a circle. So as I start to move around my circle, I can pick up my hand and my pencil. I can change directions. They kind of look like a bunch of cat whiskers. And I always have to like move my paper as I'm drawing. Where did it go? There it is. So that's gonna help you too, so that you can kind of get the hang of that single direction back and forth and back and forth. Let me back up and we'll look at, okay, so those are the ones I just made, and then very lightly I'm just gonna color in the middle of it because I don't want that white to show. So I want you guys to practice on the back of your paper a couple times with any colors you want, just until you get the hang of it. Maybe like 2 or 3 times, and then when you feel ready, you can start in like the bottom corner of your paper. So this isn't done yet. This is just the very beginning, this little poof ball. Then you're gonna pick the next color in that family, which I could do blue or purple, and you're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna overlap a tiny bit on that last color. Again, back and forth, but I'm moving my pencil and my hand to go in a circle. If I need to pick up my paper, am I making you dizzy yet? Then I can start to go down here, and I'm trying to make it even, like the same length on all parts of my circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, like that's very much longer than the others, but close enough. Okay, so the last part is to take your third color, which is, what is it? Purple. And you can either make this a little bit longer if you want like a bigger crayon firework or colored pencil firework, or you can make it the same. But if you make a bunch of tiny ones, it's gonna take you a longer time to fill up your paper, and you want this whole paper filled up because it's gonna look awesome. We won't have time to do it together, but if you want, you can work on it on your own time. Back and forth, kind of taking my time, holding my paper with one hand. My whole table's shaking. Not pushing too hard because I don't want to use up all of my material, but okay, so that's kind of what one looks like. Let me back up my camera. Got a little fluff ball in the corner. So I can decide, do I like the 3 colors? Do I want to keep going and add, like repeat some colors to make it grow? You can make it bigger, which I actually would recommend just because it takes a bit of time just to make one. So you might as well make fewer big ones than a whole bunch of tiny ones. That's gonna take you a really long time. And another thing that's gonna be nice is if you use a variety, which means a lot of different sizes. Variety can mean a lot of things in art. It usually just means a bunch of different ones. In this case though, we're gonna use a bunch of different sizes, large and small, for our fireworks, because it will make your picture look more interesting than if you just had the same sized ones over and over again. So what happens is as you make your firework bigger, it's gonna start to like bump into your other ones. And that is where you kind of want to move around, maybe work on 2 or 3 at a time. Maybe some of them will overlap just a tiny bit so that you fill up all that blank paper. That's okay. You don't want them to really collide and like go on top of each other, but a little bit of overlap is okay. So I've got something like that. Maybe now I can take my 3rd color, and I don't want to color right on top anymore of that other one. So I'm just gonna like put it next to it and squish it in there. That's probably the trickiest part, is figuring out how you're gonna squish multiple fireworks right next to each other. But you can move around a little bit and I'll show you. Okay, let's see. Let's check out what we got so far. I think it's looking pretty good. Got 2 right next to each other. Now I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and use my other group of colors, and I'm gonna start putting some maybe up here and down here. You can keep going and grouping them, putting them right next to each other, or if you want, you can leave some space and spread out a little bit. I'm gonna try it both ways and see what looks better. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I really like how this firework is really big. I feel like that's the focus of the entire picture so far. And then what I'm doing is I'm kind of grouping them in 2s, cool, warm, and I'm spreading them around the paper. I left a little bit of white space just around some of the edges, but I am going to fill up most of my white space when I'm done. So I'm working on this one over here. Sometimes it's also cool if you reverse some of the colors. So if you started with yellow in this one, maybe you want to go red in the middle and then reverse your order. But you still want to always keep your firework warm and cool separate.
yours is looking good, and if you finish, please email it to me to lsariw@aapsk12.michigan.us. My email is available on the slideshow and will be uploaded to the videos on the Specials Choice Board. So again, I would love to see pictures of your finished work. One thing I just want to show you is if you run into trouble, like some of your fireworks are bumping into each other, just go with it. Sometimes they overlap each other. Sometimes the smaller one is covered by the bigger one. Sometimes the smaller one ends up on top, like over here. So just kind of move around and make the art yours. Figure out how you want to show these beautiful bursts of color to people. So thanks for joining me. Bye guys.